Started off on a sober note. We've talked about issues that are sobering. And we've done that not because we are just depressive people. We've done that because we've been in this college a long time and know what issues are really critical for graduate students. One is to understand where you are and the values of the place you're at. And our values guide things like what curricula we offer, what special programs we offer, what the character of the relationship is. Part of, if we say leadership, and you're in a program called curriculum and instruction, there will be a leadership flavor in that program. If you're in a program called counseling, there will be a leadership flavor in that program. If you look around, you will see that we honor diversity. We are a diverse group in this room. We have worked very hard in the last number of years to cultivate a diverse faculty as well. So you will be interacting with people who are diverse as well. So it's critical to orient to where we are. It's critical to understand that your advisor is your lifeline. And it's critical to be aware of the fact that plagiarism has been an issue in this college and in other colleges across this university. Actually, there was a relatively large scandal in one of the other colleges a number of years ago, and everyone is on the alert, and really it will make you a better scholar if we orient you to that idea now, that plagiarism is not appropriate, and we follow up and make sure that while you're students, you learn the difference between how to use your work and how to use the work of others in appropriate ways. I'd like to give you an opportunity to ask questions of any of the three people who provided presentations, so that if you have a point of clarity or want to raise a point in response to those, just indicate what your topic is and what your question or comment is. So I'm opening the floor for questions or comments. Yes?
In the courses, and when we submit papers, will we be able to submit those to the Turnitin.com kind of things, or before we actually turn them in, or is that embedded in your courses here?
There is a tool that is available through the Blackboard courseware, which is, most faculty either use that for part of instruction or to augment instruction. There are also organization Blackboard sites, so there are a variety of ways in which you can connect to the Blackboard site and therefore be able to use the tool in that site. It's a very slow and cumbersome process to have work where there's other people's work and then you try to unpack what is and isn't using those kinds of software tools. It's much better to use them as a final check after you've made sure your notes are over here and what you've written is over here, because the tool that is available to students is not quite as powerful as the Turnitin tool that your faculty have access to.
People have mentioned, I don't know, the panel or even the faculty, one of the things I was thinking about as you're all talking, one of the professors mentioned, don't find yourself floating from advisor to advisor. Then some of you on the panel have also mentioned the research interests don't feel, okay, well, what if the advisor relationship is just not working out? What's the politically correct way to, move on without, damage control?
I think since I deal with a lot of the folks who find themselves in that situation, I'll address that, okay? First of all, you need to really think hard to make sure that you are correct that it is not working out. The research shows that the more times a graduate student changes advisors, the less likely the graduate student is to complete their program. So if you change advisors, do it with a lot of forethought, a lot of why this isn't working out. Try a few things to see if you can get it to work out. I am, of course, a survivor of having changed doctoral advisors. And I changed doctoral advisors when my advisor said to me, your dissertation topic is not a study. And I said, well, I guess I can't have an advisor who doesn't think that what I'm studying is really a study. So, you know, I had to think about it. By that time, he and I had taught courses together. We had a long relationship. He had been my professor from the time I was in master's courses, and so I was really, and he was the father of my daughter's best friend. I mean, this was all woven together, and so talk about political. I think that your faculty are teachers and instructors first. Yeah, they're people first, but when they're here, when they're thinking about you, well, or animals, so, you know, however, we won't go down that whole road, but when your faculty are working with you, your best interest is really their calling. And they might be reacting to you from a personal feeling of hurt, but eventually they're going to see that your decision was one that you made for good reasons, and that if they want to help you, which is what they're here for, that helping you find another advisor is a good solution. However, and I want to again put this in context, if you can find a way to work with your existing advisor, particularly if you are already into a dissertation or into a thesis, that is more likely, because a new advisor can say to you, what my person said, that's not really a study, or I don't think that that's important, go this direction. And so if you want to be heading in the same direction, and you can figure out a way that you and your advisor can work. And I had an experience with a student from South Korea, and he was my graduate assistant, and I thought we were just going to, you know, kill each other. And it was really a cultural mismatch. He had certain expectations, I had different expectations. We were at loggerheads, and so eventually I said, this isn't working. He said, this isn't working. We said, let's go to lunch. And we went to lunch and we talked for about 4 hours. And I put my issues on the table and he put his issues on the table, and we figured out a plan. And we wrote it down and we said, now, if we could get into a bad situation again, let's revisit our plan. And it had to do with the fact, one of the points in the plan was, we do not communicate important things by email. It just was not working. I was saying it one way, he was hearing it a different way. Or he was saying it one way, I was hearing it a different way. So if we had an important thing to say, we talked about it on the telephone, and that, so for a while, was Skype from South Korea. But we did it on the phone because we knew that part of our problem was the breakdown in communication that email made worse. So trying to work those things out is critical.